The story begins where the people of family Huo are massacred by assassins, but Hu is sent by the worldly faction for turning down their invitation. But one boy managed to survive. Soon after, he was discovered by a fat guy. As he was about to cut off the root of family Huo, the boss, Bat, stopped him and said that this boy had never shed a tear, so he was probably not the child of family Huo. The fat guy let the boy go as they only killed for money. Suddenly, the boy picked up the sword, jumped and stabbed the sword into the fat guy's back. Infurious, Bat kicked the boy onto the stone lion. When the boy was going to die under the blade, his blade was shaken off his grip. Then, he heard a young boy saying, "Master, this child is so pitiful. Please save him." A man's voice sounded, "Okay." The boy, Jian Chen, swayed and saved the boy, and his master also waved and shifted through Bat, leaving with Jian Chen and the boy. After a while, the boy woke up in shock and wanted to leave. But Jian Chen quickly told him that they had no ill intention. A moment later, the master also came in, being surprised by the quick recovery of the young boy. The boy was stunned by the godly aura of the master. The boy took the medicine from the master's hand and drank it. He swore by his name, Huo Jingjue, he would remember this saving grace. Jian Chen asked Huo Jingjue why didn't he cry when his family was killed that day. Huo Jingjue's reply shocked Jian Chen, saying cry will not remedy the situation. Only by being calm that I can seize the opportunity to revenge. Since then, Huo Jingjue stayed here to heal his injuries. One night, Huo Jingjue was woken by the sound outside the house. Someone seemed to be teaching sword arts. Thus, he was learning the sword arts secretly, thinking that he can revenge one day. The sword drops to the ground, and Jian Chen kneels down in disappointment. After training for so long, he still can't master the sword art, unknown sadness. But his master advised him to not get ahead of himself since learning this sword art requires an enlightenment in one's mind. Huo Jingjue steps forward with a bamboo stick, asking for a practice match with Jian Chen. Jian Chen wants to reject, for fear that he would injure Jingjue, but his master thinks this will be a good opportunity for him to learn. When the practice starts, Huo Jingjue leaps forward and plunges with the sword arts of Huo family. While Jian Chen seems exceptionally serious as this is his first match. With just a glance, Jian Chen already finds the flaw and interrupts the attack, knocking the bamboo stick into the ground. Huo Jingjue is startled that this loss is so swift. But he still doesn't give up. He somersaults and lands beside the bamboo stick, and he picks it up and asks for another match. He launches fierce attacks with another sword art of the Huo family. However, facing such pressure, Jian Chen still calmly voided every strike. Seeing that the opponent is only defending, Huo Jingjue is even enraged, and his attack is even fiercer. Jian Chen, who is only defending, is at a disadvantaged situation. But losing means putting shame on the sword art of unknown sadness, so he can't lose no matter how. As he thinks so, he throws the sword to the ground, and it bounces up to Huo Jingjue. This is the one sword art of the unknown sadness, out of nowhere. Huo Jingjue's bamboo stick is knocked off, and he is defeated. After second defeat, Huo Jingjue is still unwilling to give up. He steps onto the well, jumped into the air and grabbed the bamboo stick, then from the air, he launches unknown sadness. Jian Chen raised his sword high, using famous for a while. Two ultimate moves cross, but famous for a while is restrained by the crisscrossing edges of unknown sadness. Jian Chen's sword is flicked off from his hand, launching toward his master. With a glance, the master twists the sword and stops it in the air. Witnessing such unparalleled sword art, Huo Jingjue kneels down and asks to be his disciple. The master knows that there is a hint of demonic will in Huo Jingjue's sword arts, so he leaves neither agreeing nor disagreeing. In the next morning, the master asks Huo Jingjue to observe Jian Chen's practice. When the sun is setting, Huo Jingjue is strolling in the wild in a heavy heart, wondering why he still isn't accepted as disciple. Suddenly, he notices something in the wild. He sees a gazelle being surrounded by a pack of wolves. He launches his sword into a wolf's neck, trying to help the dying gazelle. Immediately, the wolf pack shifts their target to Huo Jingjue, but with his skills now, the wolf pack isn't his opponent at all. Soon, the wolf pack runs away in dismay. The gazelle that survives moans in pain. Seeing this, Huo Jingjue slashes its neck and kills it without hesitation so that it won't suffer anymore. Then, he sees Master walking by without making a sound. The next day, the Master tells Huo Jingjue that he wants to bring him to see his friend, Monk Bu Su. He explains that Monk Bu Su has excellent achievements in martial arts and knows more about the philosophy of life, which makes him the better person to be his teacher. Huo Jingjue immediately understands that the Master isn't going to accept him as his disciple. He thinks his apprenticeship was rejected because the Master is afraid that he will be better than Jian Chen. At night, Huo Jingjue decides to leave. Jian Chen chases him and stops him, trying to persuade him to go back. But Huo Jingjue is determined to leave. He attacks Jian Chen, but Jian Chen just dodges it without effort. It turns out that Jian Chen was losing the practice match purposely last night because he also hopes that Huo Jingjue will be accepted as his master's disciple. Hearing that, Huo Jingjue still insists on leaving. The two of them are on different paths. One has the devoted attention of the master. One has his mother dead since young and his family doesn't treat him like a human. Before leaving, Huo Jingjue still thanks Jian Chen for the warmth that he never feels before. One day, he comes to the top of a mountain and wants to join a section. He renames himself as Bu Jingyun.